everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to review the 1994 version of The Crow. I don't even know if I have the words for how this movie just completely blew me away in my perception and expectations. I think this movie shocked me more than anyone ever has. Stay tuned at the end of this video because we're going to do a comparison of the 94 Crow and the 2024 Crow. So different. What? There are a lot of differences. To put it lightly. Even the way this movie opened up was so impactful. Aftermath of the crime scene, Shelley and Eric's apartment to Sarah, the little girl. I really loved the realness of this conversation, the way that she calls him out. I just loved seeing that grounded moment happen so early in the film. Eric popping out of his grave. Eric immediately goes back to his old apartment. That scene was powerful. You can feel the emotions that he's going through as he's remembering everything that happened. It's sad. We as the audience get to see what he went through in an interesting way that is very effective. Even him swinging himself out the window, kind of like he was thrown out the window. He swings back inside and we get to see his hands. As he's discovering that he regenerates, we, the audience, are also finding that out. Just a really smart way of storytelling. I love the real conversation between Sarah and the cop. She says, "Oh, I don't want onions on my hot dog. They really make you fart." I just love how grounded this movie got with those realistic conversations. We also have a cool stylistic scene on the roof where he is running. The crow is flying overhead. It's almost like his discovery of what has happened. I actually really enjoyed the style of this scene paired with the old school music. It's like, okay, this looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. The Crow is Eric's eyes and ears over the city. He lets him know when things are happening and is directly tied to him in that way. So he alerts him of one of the guys who was involved with his death. And I really like that Eric has such purpose and intention. He knows exactly what he's going to do. Find the people that killed them. It's interesting the way the scene plays out. I feel like Eric is in self-defense here. This guy is so seedy and underhanded and getting ready to kill him as well. He doesn't even realize that it's Eric come back to life. We also establish that these bad guys are really a part of a large gang that's terrorizing this city and no doubt killing a lot of people under the radar. When we encounter Sarah and Eric for the first time on the street and he saves her from a car, he's kind of trying to hide his identity. This scene was already roping me in. Like, is she gonna find out that that's Eric?
I wish the rain would stop just once.
It can't rain all the time.
Eric?
Ugh. This movie was so smart about little moments that really invest us into the characters. So many thoughtful, insightful moments in this film that took me by surprise. I thought this was going to be a really dark story. He helps Sarah's mom, like squeezes the drugs out of her arm and tells her to go find her daughter outside. They showed that he is not afraid to be in front of the cop. They really have that discussion of, okay, you've come back from the dead. He asked what happened to Shelley. Crow touches the cop and gets all of those memories, emotions, and feelings back. They really have a heart-to-heart together, and the way the Crow even brings up cherishing people in your lives and that no small moment is trivial.
Is your wife?
Yeah, well, not anymore. We're getting a divorce.
This movie drove more emotion out of me than I thought it would. I was crying through a lot of scenes, especially when the Crow and Sarah would see each other. Sarah goes back to the apartment and the Crow's trying to hide and not reveal that he's there. And he's standing in the window frame and they run up to each other and hug. It was so sweet. Literally always crying when the Crow and Sarah were together. When Eric Draven goes after the last guy who was involved, he's not even after Top Dollar, who is pretty evil and satanic. Honestly, he doesn't even have any knowledge of that. He goes in there and he says, hey, I'm just after that guy. He's not intending to go in there and just kill everybody. Although that is what happens, they all shoot him and then he has to defend himself. After the crow leaves the scene, he returns to his grave where he sees Sarah sleeping on the ground. He gives Sarah the engagement ring of Shelley. It was just a really sweet scene. Top Dollar kidnapped Sarah and I was like, oh no you didn't. The crow finds out and alerts Eric, so he shows up at the church. I like that he becomes vulnerable in this scene because they shoot the crow and then Eric is able to actually be injured. The cop shows up to help him out. I just love how they're banding together to help each other and to keep each other safe. The evil hench lady gets killed by the crow and I was glad for that to happen. Very apropos death, we'll just say. After the crow takes down Top Dollar, I really loved this moment where they were all sitting on the floor and they made it, and it's like this little team, you know, the cop and Sarah and the crow, and then of course Eric disappears and the cop is like, yeah, he does that a lot. He heads back to his grave. He seems very weak and like he's passing away. I literally cried so much when he fell on that grave. It was so emotional. Shelley shows up and she tells him everything's okay. We end the movie there and I was crying. I actually shot an after movie reaction, but it was a little too emotional. Like Shelley's grave. Eric falls on I'm gonna cry. It was just showing the importance of the people we lost. How hard it is when we lose people and how much we love them. I feel like it's more about that than Eric actually getting revenge. I had an impression of this movie that it was going to be very dark. Just even from being a kid and seeing the cover, I judged it before I saw it. I don't know, this movie was really heartfelt for me. Like I said, I felt like it was more of a story about loss and our loved ones and valuing the people we love in our lives, being there for them, supporting them. All of it just made me cry. This movie got me majorly. It's such a win. It's a great movie. Very stylized, poetic, and good movie. Now that we've gone over The Crow 1994, let's do a few comparisons between the 2024 version and this one. You guys, let's go with the main #1 issue that I now have with the 2024. The title, The Crow. The Crow was an afterthought in the 2024 movie. Barely remember him being in it. He's in limbo and he flies over Eric one time. They didn't directly correlate it with Eric. He wasn't helping Eric. He wasn't finding people. They explained in this 1994 movie that this crow brought him back and is helping him all without saying a word about it. It was all visual. It was all implied. We got the picture. 2024 movie, The Crow was completely absent. How do you make a movie that titles The Crow and just leave out the crow? Really, for him just to circle around Eric, say that he's become the crow, it had so much less meaning. Well, another difference is in the 2024 movie, Eric is kind of pushed into this situation. You know, he has a couple options. He's happy to fight for his love on the second round, but he doubts her in the mid-round and doesn't really become the crow until the last bit of the movie. 94 Crow, we have such a direct intention from Eric. Nobody told him or gave him this option. He was like, I've got to find out what happened and I've got to go find these people that murdered us. Intention versus forced into a situation. In the 2024 movie, he kills about 2 people that were directly involved by cutting off their heads. Everything that Eric did felt very gross. How did this guy turn into this completely evil version that's killing everybody in such a dark way, whereas Eric Draven practically self-defended when he ran into the people that had taken him down. Maybe I'm giving him too much of a pass. I know his intention was to go kill the people that killed them. So that part of the movie is dark. Again, I don't agree with either of these themes overall. I feel like vengeance is the Lord's and you don't need to take those things into your own hands. But for the sake of storytelling and the fact that Eric was very thoughtful and real about going back and finding these very evil people, I'm just gonna go with my self-defense moment. Honestly, everybody he ran into tried to kill him before he tried to kill them, so I'm gonna give it a pass. Obviously, there is a glaring comparison in the love story, primarily focusing around Shelley, and I feel like she was more the lead character through the first half of the movie. Also a little controlling and pushy. I don't know if other people were getting that, but it just seems like she's calling the shots. Where in this movie you have Shelley, who was murdered in the very beginning. We get glimpses of their love, which was very sweet, just really real relationship moments that were cute. You could tell that their love was actually genuine. Definitely a glaring difference between the two. I do think in a battle of dark and light, you gotta have that light in there, and I really did see the light inside of Eric. Overall, we've got a very strong, thoughtful story that was heartfelt versus I don't even know what to say about the 2024 Crow. Overall, this was a cool journey. I didn't even want to go see The Crow, but now I've seen both of them and have a full picture. I've enjoyed reviewing these. Check out my full review of The Crow 2024, and I just thank you guys for all the support. This is my dog. You guys have really been helping my channel grow and has really encouraged me, so thank you so much. I will see you guys in the next